This is the 2012 Volkswagen Beetle Turbo Edition that has a 2-liter inline 4-cylinder that develops 200 horsepower and 207 pound-feet of torque. As you can maybe tell if you've been following the Beetle line for a while, this has definitely been a redesigned Beetle for 2012. Has a lower overall height to it, kind of smushed down a little bit, wider profile, and I think it has a much more masculine, aggressive look to it, and I kind of like it. So. Not normally been a huge Beetle fan most of my life, but I do like this one. I've been driving it for several days now and can tell you that it handles very well. Has a very good power. I know Car and Driver got 0 to 60 in about 6.3 seconds roughly, so no slouch by any stretch. Has a really good overall look to the body. I like the rear spoiler addition, and of course there is the famous little turbo logo there right below the rear Volkswagen emblem there. So I'm gonna go ahead and hop inside here, and we'll go over some of the features that are available on this particular model. I guess you can also notice too that there is a sunroof on this one. We'll go ahead and go inside here. So as you can see, good round gauges that are very nicely laid out, easy to read. That has got to be the biggest freaking fuel gauge I've ever seen in my life. Good lord, it's huge. I don't know, call me a little slow. I think they could have probably had room there for a fuel gauge and a temperature gauge. As you notice, there is no current temperature gauge on this car. So anyway, there you have it. This particular model is the most well-equipped turbo Beetle that you can get. As you can see right now, I'm playing the Bluetooth audio. This is the Fender audio system. Go ahead and pan around here and you can see the little logo there on the tweeter, Fender. I'm not sure how well that's coming across in the camera. There we go. And so it's a very good sounding system. It's got a subwoofer in the rear, 8-inch driver back there, and it's got some nice, looks like 6.5-inch drivers here in the door, as well as the tweeters up above. And the sound station is very good. Gives you a good sense of placement of the voice and instruments. So Fender did a really good job of incorporating this with Volkswagen. And I like it. It's right up there in terms of quality with, for me personally, it's right up there with the Kia Infinity sound system. It will rock the hell out of you if you want it to, but not at the expense of ultra distortion like unfortunately all too many car audio systems do these days. So I really like it. Kudos to Volkswagen and Fender for teaming up on what I think is a great pair. This particular head unit also has the onboard navigation. You can go into different setup modes. Does support obviously Bluetooth, as I pointed out earlier. There's different media. There is FM radio, AM radio, of course satellite radio, which this one doesn't have an active subscription to, and of course a nice little CD player. So nice features all throughout. As you can see here, there is no dual climate control in this one, but it does have air conditioning, and there is no even automatic climate control. It's completely manual here. You have to decide. There's the fan switch and the temperature switch, and of course what kind of vents you want it to output to. One of the more cool features about this car is it does feature a dual clutch automatic, which I really like a lot. It's kind of like driving a stick shift without the hassle of having to hit the pedal. So it's an active automatic transmission that will automatically anticipate the type of driving that you do, and even when it comes to gearing down, it really feels like you're driving a manual transmission, which I think with this turbo 4-cylinder motor is a great pairing, and once again they did a good job on doing that. So I want to point out something I thought was kind of interesting here. You got this little faux glove box, if you will. It does open up to a little bit of storage there. You can see it doesn't go very deep, and of course there is a full-size glove box down in here. So you got a little bit more storage options that way. I guess they kind of did that because they don't really have anything here in the middle console to speak of. There's a cup holder and some that kind of thing, but nothing really major. So I'm glad they have that little additional storage there. Coupled with this particular audio system and this price point, this one starts about $31,000, just shy of $31,000 for this fully decked out turbo edition. So with the Fender audio system, you do get the inclusion of this nice sunroof. As you can see, however, it does not go all the way back. That's as far back as it goes, and they couldn't really go any further back without hitting the hatchback if you had the hatch open while you open the sunroof. So something to bear in mind if you want to opt for the sunroof and Fender audio option. You know, if having a full open sunroof is important to you, it might not be worth the upgrade. It does have a little handy screen here that pops up when you open it to help keep the bugs out and other debris that might be coming in. Overall, I've really liked this car. Like I said earlier, handles extremely well. From what I've heard, wink wink, you can actually squill the tires pretty well. Unfortunately, Volkswagen does not allow you to disengage the traction control, so I can't really personally attest to that, but that's what I've heard. Anyway, we'll go over some of the basic features here on the steering wheel. And first of all, I do like the grip of the steering wheel. It's got a nice tactical feel to it. Of course, it's got the squared bottom, which is really nice as well. Over here you have the control for the Bluetooth and audio systems. Of course, you can see the little mic here, mic button that'll turn on the hands-free mode. And the other thing I wanted to point out before I forget is the fact that you do have paddle shifters here, which is really cool. Gives it a sporty feel. Over here you have the button system that controls the onboard car menu system, which is all right here on right below the speedometer, and you can scroll through different parts of data. There's fuel consumption, it tells me that I'm running Bluetooth audio. There's the navigation, which direction you're heading, and various vehicle settings. So overall, it's pretty typical. It's you know, really straightforward, very intuitive, very easy to figure out. This is cruise control over here, and of course there's wipers over here. So let me see if I can get that. There we go. Wiper control right there. So I wanted to get back to something here real quickly on the transmission. So like I said earlier, it is a dual clutch system. So you can go into the standard drive mode right there, which is fine, and that'll be bring about the ultimate or the best possible fuel economy. You can move over one and do a manual shift mode. Just minus and plus, just up and down, really simple. Or you can go into the mode that is my personal favorite, which is the sport mode, and that really does an aggressive gear holding scenario on the dual clutch system. So if you really want to get that sense of you're driving a manual without a clutch pedal, then I would highly recommend always keeping it in sport mode. You know, if you're a little bit more fuel conscious, then go ahead and move it up to drive. So anyway, again, I think the overall system works very well. It might boil down to whether or not you think $30,000 is too much for a little two-door coupe here, and of course it's going to be purely a subjective call. I would highly recommend at least getting out to test drive this car if you're at all in the market for a two-door sedan that's very sporty, a fun car with aggressive looks, frankly, now that they've done to the front and rear fascias and the overall height of the vehicle. I would highly recommend getting out and test driving the turbo Volkswagen Beetle 2012 model. So thanks for tuning in, guys. As always, I look forward to reading your comments down below, so feel free.